Good morning, people. Welcome back to the Red Devil Circle. Guys, football is so close to being back this weekend, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait for it. Done with the international saga, and I'm just ready for real football. I'm just ready for club football, and that's where I'm at. But there's a lot of news pouring in this morning, and I want to quickly go through them with you. Marcus Rashford has been speaking on international duty. Also, Matthew Cunha has been speaking as well on international duty, and Bruno also spoke, I think, yesterday or so on international duty, or a couple of days ago. But these are all like exposing some things about the club, or their statements are exposing some things about the club. So I'm gonna quickly touch on them. I'm gonna start with Rashford because over the past few months, it's just or over the past few weeks, it just seems like he keeps talking about his time at the club and how our surroundings are the problem and how so many changes. You know what? Let me just straight up read from the source. Read exactly what Marcus Rashford has said. He said, I feel like I've been in an inconsistent environment for a very, very long time. So it's even more difficult to be consistent. I think consistency is what I need to bring into my game, and yeah, I'm looking to do that. Obviously, I want to be at my best, not sometimes, but as often as possible. And all those Rashford fans will be out there saying, "Yeah, Rashford, self-awareness or whatever." But I don't see it. I don't see him taking accountability at all. I mean, how many times does it come out in the news that he's been late to practice? I remember Ten Hag dropping him for being late at some point as well. Or look, he's just not taking accountability at all, and that's the thing that pisses me off. If you want to come out and speak about your time at Manchester United, don't just half-ass it, because he's saying he's been in an inconsistent environment, but that's not the major reason for you to drop inconsistent performances. I don't see any accountability from the player. You're having a good run of form now. That's great. I mean, everything is there for you to have a good run of form because you're trying to play for your future and you want to stay at the club after the season and you have a point to prove. If you aren't playing well now, there will literally be no hope. So I'm not surprised that he's doing well at Barcelona, and props to him. But at the same time, if you're gonna talk about Manchester United every press conference or every chance you get, you might as well look at yourself as well. Like, what did you do wrong in that situation? He also said a lot more. He said, when people talk about consistency, in order to be consistent in any sport, in in anything, not just sports, you need consistent variables like in your life and in the way you train. And we've just had so many changes so far in my career. But like I said, I have to look forward, and that's definitely one of the things that I'll want to put right and improve on to be at my best more often. Um, I don't know about you guys, but I don't see him taking accountability as a player. You're talking about the environment and variables in your life. I mean, if you ask the people who are very consistent in life, and you can see that from their success, and they're just distinct from other successful people. But one thing about consistent people is that they're able to do that day in day out. They're able to show up every day, and it doesn't matter what the variables in their life are. They're able to still show up, come rain, come storm. come sunshine, they still show up. They still show up and they get it done. But you're blaming everything else apart from how you contributed to your time at Manchester United. At this point, maybe you should just shut up and concentrate on the reason you're there. That's my whole view of the thing. Because every time he's always referencing Manchester United, and no one is stupid. Because you're talking about your past, which was Manchester United. Um, and I get it, but take some accountability. And I'm gonna move on here to Cunha. Cunha has also dropped some statements as well. In a more lighter tone than Rashford, considering the history there. But yeah, Cunha has spoken on being at Manchester United so far, away with Brazil on international duty with Brazil. So on Manchester United, he said this: "I try as much as possible to adapt, to learn. It's only been 2 months, but it feels like I've been here for a long time because of the club's current situation. I have to get results as quickly as possible because I'm a sign-in. All of this helps a lot to find adaptation faster and feel as good as possible in the national team." So, what I've noticed there is that he said his 2 months here has felt like forever because of the club's current situation. So, again, the situation behind in the club, the environment is not very positive. It's not very positive, and you can kind of link two statements in one. In the way Rashford spoke, obviously huge contrast. He's not here anymore, and probably feels some type of way about how his time here went. But on the other side is a player that has only been here a couple months and is trying to make the best of it, right? But both of them still referencing the environment in the club in a way. So the environment is not lost to anyone that it's not the best right now. But the club has been making bold changes and trying to get us to a more stable place. And I'm not gonna say I'm in support of what the board is doing, the owners, the Ineos group, and the Glazers. I'm not saying I'm in full support, but they have done some things, but they haven't done enough for what we need to compete in the Premier League. What we need to compete against the top teams in the Premier League. They haven't done enough. It's clear for everyone that they haven't done enough. But the bottom line is the environment is not good. And as a United fan, I just want to hope that more results going our way, and more consistent performances would help change the situation, will help change the feeling in the club, because that's the major impact that is having on this players. If you understand what I mean, the feeling is not great. It just still feels like it's in that regeneration process where everyone is not trusting everyone completely. Everyone is not trusting what's going on. And I'm not saying they're not trusting the manager. I'm talking about the environment and everything surrounding it. Everyone is not being as trusting to the situation in the club. But that could change your results. I really believe that could change your results, because at the end of the day, that's mostly what this players care about. And if you can show that you can be consistent and do it and stay in the on the top half of the league, or the top five, top six, if you can show that you can compete with the big dogs in the league, then things start to feel a bit nicer, and it helps him adapt more. Like he said it perfectly. He said, "I have to get results as quickly as possible because I'm a new signing. Obviously, all of this helps to find adaptation faster." And he's right. It does help. And he's a lot more self-aware than some other people, but he knows what the situation is, and he knows we have to, as a group, collectively, have to hit the ground running, and that's the only way the feeling in the club gets better. So props to Cunha there. Um, those are the two things I wanted to touch on. But finally, I'm gonna talk about the breaking news on Lisandro Martinez. Excuse me. So Martinez will be back training with the first team this week. That's coming out from Mail Sport. He's eyeing apparently Brighton and Nottingham Forest, which is our next two games, I think, after Liverpool. And yeah, we have Liverpool, Brighton, Forest, and Tottenham. I don't believe that. I don't believe that he can make it back that fast. Even though he feels so, I don't know, maybe that's what the medical staff is saying now. But I think if you look at what we've been doing recently, Ruben Amorim has been more protective of his injury-prone players. He knows what he's dealing with. He's been more meticulous about his injury-prone players. So first time back training with the first team, I don't see him playing being able to play the next two games after Liverpool. Um, Looking at the precaution Amarim takes with his injury-prone players, I don't see him coming back that quick. I would love him to because I think he walks straight into that team right now. But his fitness hasn't been there for months. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that could go wrong. And knowing how Amarim is, he would not just throw him into the lines. Then he wouldn't just put him out there to play that quickly. I think he's gonna try to ease him into things. But maybe he comes from the bench. My feeling is he probably come from the bench against Forest. If he's showing some good signs, but I don't see him coming back as quickly as that report states. So, but let's see. I hope he can come in and just take that position from Luke Shaw, and it'll help our overall play and not just the overall play because we can see the changes when people like Maguire come in. The forward passes aren't going there as compared to when you have Euro in the team and Delete in his right position in the middle. Because you've also seen in the previous games how moving Delete outside his center position can cause a problem because he's not very good at playing on the sides of that defensive line. So Martinez would be a big huge boost, definitely a huge boost because now we have a player that can break through the lines with his passing, and we can probe in the opposition box a lot more. We can keep the ball a lot better. Uh, Shaw has some good traits, but I think Martinez is just gonna be exactly what this team needs, and with it'll also help with the substitutions and the team selection as a whole. So I'm definitely excited about that. Tune in. I'm gonna end this video here, but guys, please subscribe to the channel and spread the love. Also, I'm gonna be making a video later today as well on the midfield, and I'm gonna be telling us what selection Amarim needs to make in the midfield and why that's gonna change the whole support with the fan base for him and just the whole vibe at Manchester United could very much play into his favor if he just makes a different midfield selection. But we're gonna talk about that later today. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.